Welcome back to my Eid series, guys, and this is my mum's delicious Haleem recipe using the finest quality lamb. So to start the recipe, you need to weigh out your pearl barley, cover it in water and leave it to soak overnight. Then in a separate bowl, measure out all of your dals and your rice before soaking that in water overnight as well. The following morning, you want to add your barley to a large cooking pot, followed by like 5 litres of water, and then do the same with the rice and the dal mixture. Pop that in another large cooking vessel with a lot of water, covering it all the way to the top. At this stage, the dal is seasoned with a bit of turmeric and some red chilli powder. That's it. Give it a good mix and let these two simmer away on a low to medium heat and let them cook. Now this dish is a labour of love. It'll take ages for this to cook. You've just got to be patient with it and you've got to keep stirring it to make sure that the barley does not stick to the bottom of the pot because it's going to burn. It'll add a horrible taste and flavour to the actual Haleem itself. You want to wait until this is at like a beautiful thick consistency and the barley is nice and soft. This takes some time and you will have to top up the water throughout the cooking process because it's going to get thick but it won't be cooked. Same with the dal, you just got to let it cook and you might have to top up the water a few times until it's fully mushy. You can check this by just squeezing a grain of dal between your fingers and seeing at what stage it's at. After several hours, your barley and your dals will have cooked. They'll be at this stage where they hold their shape, but as soon as you touch them, they're nice and soft. So that's kind of the stage we want them at. At this stage, we want to season the dal and rice with salt and then take it off the heat, let it cool before you blitz half of the dal. So we're not going to blitz it to a fine paste. We want some chunks in there. So we go in with an immersion blender and we're just giving it sort of a once over. So you can still see it's a bit chunky, but it's got a soup-like texture to it as well. Now with the barley, you'll see that the soup part of the barley becomes thicker and the consistency changes. When you take it off the heat and you cool it, it'll look like this, like a porridge. Essentially, that's what you want. And you want to wait for this to cool slightly before going in with the immersion blender again. And you want to blitz half of the barley. You still want the chunks, but you want some smooth parts as well. Now, do this and set these aside. We're going to make the meat mixture now. You need a lot of cooking vessels for this. You need another large pot. This has got to be the biggest pot because all of that dal and the barley have got to fit into it. Go in with your ghee, go in with your onions, brown your onions, and then add your lamb. You want to use good quality lamb. We're using organic tayyib halal meat from Tayyib blog here. Sear your meat, add your garlic and ginger paste, followed by all the spices, and then give it a good mix before you top it up with water. Now this water needs to cover the meat slightly because you want to cook it down and you want to ensure that that body is nice and soft. Cover it, leave it on a low simmer, and forget about it for an hour. We want the meat to be nice and tender. In order to do this, we need to cook it further. You add your chilies, your yogurt, and your garam masala. Adjust it for salt seasoning according to taste. And you want to cook this down until that meat is nice and soft and it literally flakes with a spoon like this. Now, this is the important part. We want to keep half of the chunks as they are, but we want to also flake up half of the meat. So I'm just doing it with a spoon. You can do it with a fork if you like. Next, once you've done that, you add that dal mixture. Then you add the barley mixture and you give this a good mix. Now, traditionally, a kitchen implement called a gotna is used, which is basically a wooden spoon with like a ball on the end of it that allows you to mash the dal and the barley and the meat together. But because I don't have one, I just use my KitchenAid like this. And it also creates the right consistency for it. So if you look at it now, it's got this pull to it. That's the perfect consistency for Haleem. Once you've reached the desired consistency, which is the perfect consistency, you're ready to plate it up. But we don't just plate up the Haleem on its own. Oh no, it's got to have all of the trimmings. So we're going in with coriander, we're going in with some chaat masala, some fresh chilies, and a squeeze of lemon. And then you go in with fried onions. This is like the creme de la creme. You have to have fried onions. A tadka is a must on Haleem. Or if you prefer it, you can just have it with a spoon. It is so delicious, it'll make you dance. Give this a go and tag me in your recreations this Eid.